societally, we're rammed. We're trying to live, survive, enjoy, educate, find a purpose in a system that isn't giving us a second, where we have way too much information at our hands and not enough elder wisdom about slowing down and really discovering what it is to be in this human body.
Ronan O Brien, the founder of Breathwave Ireland, believes that when we look inward and challenge the stories we tell ourselves through the power of our breath, we start to discover our own healing path, one consistent step at a time.
The mask that I was wearing at that time was breaking me, it was crushing me, because it was very hard. And
have we ever even wondered what kind of masks we're wearing and for who? And if they're even doing us any good at all? Are we ready to see who's behind these masks? Hi guys, I'm Sarah, and I'm so glad and grateful for your open ears, your open heart, and your open mind. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and sharing, especially to those who might have needed support or who might have needed to feel heard and seen. This week, I'm overly grateful to have Ronan O Brien on the podcast, the founder of Breathwave Ireland, and how he helps us discover the power of our breath and how an empowered life starts with an empowered nervous system. Find a safe and cozy self-care space just for you. If you can, grab yourself a warm drink, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Remember, your comments are always welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on to the podcast today.
My pleasure.
Yes, I've heard so much about Breathwave Ireland and your journeys, and everybody seems to be ranting and raving about it, and I cannot wait to dive into it all.
Okay. Well, I can do my best to answer or guide you into whatever question needs to be answered, of course.
Well, I think what a lot of people are suffering from these days is burnout. And because the world keeps getting faster, we keep getting more and more work to do. And a lot of people have been burning out for a while now. Mm-hmm. And I think your breath work and everything that you do regarding helping people return home to themselves is so important these days. And I'd love to know how it's going for them all.
I don't know how it's going for a lot of them. My feedback from people and my lived experience is that if people can put time into a practice, the practice will pay off. Unfortunately, people are looking for a practice that is short-term in order to get a long-term benefit. And I call this the Band-Aid effect, where you just want to put the plaster over the cut, but you don't really want to get behind what's really going on. And that comes back to your initial engagement when you're talking about burnout. People are juggling and moving things, and wellness and health is just one of those things that they're trying to move. Mm-hmm. And they subsequently, when things get more difficult or get accelerated, or the nervous system is unstable and shuts down, what falls from that is the practice. What falls from that is the self-care, or the yoga, the breathwork, the gym, whatever it might be, and how this then exacerbates whatever issues that they're going through when they don't have a management tool. So it's not a blame on a person or a blame on someone's nervous system, because societally we're rammed. We're trying to live, survive, enjoy, educate, find a purpose in a system that isn't giving us a second, where we have way too much information at our hands and not enough elder wisdom about slowing down and really discovering what it is to be in this human body.
Totally agree. We're definitely overstimulated these days. There's too many things to choose from, too many things to look at.
You know, we have ChatGPT on our phones for free for a reason. You know, and it's an amazing tool, AI, but it also has that worry aspect of it. So that means we're not looking at a book, or we're not resourcing our brains or ourselves to go and find something out. It's all too easy. We've got Terminator technology in our pockets, and we've got to learn to live with it, because you know, nobody listening to that is going to go, oh well, that's it, I'm going to get rid of my iPhone. But we do have to find a way of being able to manage ourselves within it, and finding a way to slow down and discover ourselves.
And what was your journey to this stage?
What got me onto breathwork is just part of the journey. In a rough frame of my story, or in a nutshell, to bring it up to speed, it would be, I was a young rugby player. I broke my back. I took a while to get back. Took about 3 years in recovery. Then I got back playing again. I broke my shoulder. And I'm at 24 years of age going, my identity is where now, and what do I do? And subsequently spend a number of years in the wastelands of identity, trying to figure out, discovering, and then 08, the crash, lost a lot of money. That exacerbated again. My back was in chronic pain. I didn't have any money, and I was, what am I going to do? I didn't get to the university degree or college degree that I had wanted, and now I'm kind of approaching in my 30s, kind of going, oh, OMG, what? I'm in trouble. And eventually got up to live with my cousin in Galway. I moved from Limerick to Galway, and started looking at the early day Joe Rogan podcasts, and subsequently had got into kind of shamanism. That was a question, how do I find that? I went to Martin Duffy through a friend who is in Dundee Park. I had this drum journey. It was all a bit weird. I was a very alpha type of physical guy, not in touch with my softer sides, very kind of brute and gym orientated. And all that, as I see now, was in reflection, was the mask or the armor that I was wearing to try and be accepted and be part of society, or a rugby society, or a physical society at least. So that was kind of started the day of questioning, and I got into breathwork then by doing some holotropic work originally in Dundee as part of my course, and that kind of started the ball rolling. I studied shamanism with him for 2 years, and then breathwork became interesting from that, and from there I developed and found the aspects that I'm currently in now.
Really interesting. I like that you brought up the aspect of questioning our identity. Is that something that comes up quite a lot in your shamanic journeys and your sessions that you hold?
Well, the sessions I hold now are part of it. It would be have a shamanic influence for sure. I wouldn't say that they are shamanic. They are kind of neuro-linguistic. They're neuroscience. They're poetic. They're shamanistic. There's quite a curl and way that they all become uniquely created. But the shamanism side really kind of brought attention to my imagination, really, because you have to use your imagination a little bit to get out of the doing cognitive persona. So and through through that and into that, and still I'm discovering masks that I wear. My family mask, my work mask, my fun mask, all these different, my physical mask, etc. That we all have these masks in order to facilitate ourselves moving in and out of the societal basis that we live in. And so the mask that I was wearing at that time was breaking me, was crushing me, because it was very hard, and kind of developing that into where I am now is quite different. And children will do that to you as well, but quite different.
Mm-hmm. I like that analogy of wearing masks as well. We all have different masks for different roles, rather than, well, I suppose, like a personality, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not that they're a bad thing. It's, you know, it's, but if we can generate those masks that we wear from a place of our knowing ourselves, embodying ourselves, having peace with who we are, that really brings that lens into all the other masks. And we're not wearing performative masks, or we're not wearing masks based on a triggered emotional trauma that we're trying to fit in and feel safe in other positions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And if somebody wanted to take the first step in going down this pathway and journey of breathwork and wellness and coming home to themselves, what would you advise they do?
Ideally, they need to be in the company of people that are on that path, and it's individual for everybody. So breathwork isn't going to land the same for everybody, as is yoga, as is Tai Chi, as is mountain climbing. People will find their nuance into what they enjoy, or what they can identify with, or what makes sense to them, and so on. So how I would guide them was like, well, it's all about guiding them back to themselves, and guiding them back into the awareness of their body, the awareness of their intuition, the awareness of, you know, what their heart space means to them, the awareness of how their jibber jabber mind is taking them off into areas that are less productive or less supportive. And through that space, meditation has always done that across the ages, and I use breathwork in a meditation format to do that through mind. So when people say, to answer the question, what should I do, I would try and help them listen to themselves.
Can't imagine that being very easy when the world's so loud.
It takes time. It takes time, and it comes back to one of the original points that I'm making, is that people go, "Oh, I did breathwork. Oh yeah, what did you do?" I went to a session, or I lay down and I did it, and you know, I tried it, and it's not for me. And unfortunately, you can go to a run coach, a gym coach, and any other thing like that, and if you said that around those aspects, you'd be like, "Sure, that's ridiculous. You've got to give it some time. You've got to give it a bit of dedication." And if you're really at a place of change, pain, or crossroads within your life, that you need something to come in and support and help influence, and you believe your nervous system stability and capacity is a way to do that, you need to spend at least 5 or 6 weeks to get an idea of if it's for you or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're totally right there. I think we can give up so easily these days, because there are too many things to choose from, and we don't have enough patience.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I call this the information crisis, where there's too much availability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even under the title of breathwork coaches or breathwork meditations, you can still choose from 10 or 15 quite easily on a Google search. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to go through all them is going to take time to find the one you want. And we're all on social media to some degree. We hate it, so we don't like it, but we're on it. And it's all of it. So we're trying to find people's integrity. We're trying to find people's alignment, that we can go, "Oh, I like that. They sound like integral, or they sound honest, or they don't sound like they spend all their time in Bali telling people how to get over their mother or get over their fathers. That's one of my jokes. And yeah, so fundamentally, again, bringing people back to being able to listen and be with themselves. A Vipassana, a 3-day Vipassana, or even a 24-hour Vipassana, it's a great way to start.
Yeah, and I suppose it's like when you say listening to ourselves, listening to our body and what feels good. You know, if we come across a practitioner or something that we're into and we don't know what to choose, I suppose listening to our body gives us the sign if we're able to connect in.
I completely agree. But also listening to the body takes patience, takes time, takes quiet, takes numerous different ways of being able to take the time to do that. So people say listen to your body. That's a skill that you have to develop.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can be with yourself for a couple of hours without needing to be on the phone, or and even nowadays, if you can go to the toilet and leave your phone in the kitchen, you know, then you can be with yourself.
You'd be surprised how many people can do that.
Yeah.
During your seminars or your weekends, what kind of breath works do you focus on? Are there different styles?
Yeah. So I'm going to say my training would be originally in conscious connected work, which would be embodiment, somatic, conscious connected breathing, and how there's quite a detail to the layers of that, the psychology of that, the history of that, the body reading of that, and then also I've gone into the functional side and the performance side of breathing, which has come under the titles of Buteyko or oxygen advantage. And there's other types. There's rebirthing. There's holotropic. There, you know, I've touched into them, but I'm not a facilitator in those modules. But they all offer something different in a way that helps people either calm and regulate, which would be functional breathing, and finding out how to have better tolerance within their breathing with carbon dioxide, and then into the journey breath work, which holotropic is like, if anyone's not familiar, is basically 3 hours of hard music where you're breathing hard and you're in the container, or say the space of potentially 10 to 30 people all energetically moving on it, and it's amazing. Holotropic breath work is amazing. I wanted to do something that is created specifically around providing a practice, because I found that too many people can go to workshops, can go to experiences, and then not have a practice around the breathing that is supportive to Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and people have left their healing at weekends, at mats, in experiences, but not integrating them. And so I wanted to provide the online work, which started over during COVID, when people were just at their wits' end. I had closed down one of my previous businesses, which was in strength and conditioning. And I went online, kind of very hodgepodge way of getting it started, and then it was busy, and I just kept it on. I started writing. Writing is a big part of what I do now. I write. I currently have a book coming out, hopefully in the next few weeks. It's called The Bardic Breath. It's a poetic insight and guidance to the underlying principles of how we're all experiencing what it is to be human through the lens of a breath practice.
I'm looking forward to reading that book. I think it would be very interesting for people to read it as well and understand the human experience from different points of views and aspects.
Thank you. It's less of a book, more of a poetic guidance tool. It's a tool. It's something that you can pick up and be like, oh, that reminds me. There's a poem in here that correlates to this conversation or to this experience, and how, you know, this can offer some insight into this shared dynamic or this shared experience in a poetic sense. And yeah, so that's a lot of how I've done the breathwork, which is uniquely different, that I feel is uniquely different, is with this poetic landscape that's brought in as you're in what they call a theta brain or receptive brain state from the breathwork. And then you're able to feel what's being said instead of cognitively going, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I think it's important for a lot of people to understand the neuroscience about it as well. It kind of helps us go deeper into why would I want to do this breath work? You know,
it's hugely important, obviously, to have the understanding of, as a facilitator, where you're bringing people, how to bring them there. Is it safe to bring them there? Can they feel safe while they're there? Because nothing can really, there's no experience that can be really extraordinarily beneficial unless people can feel safe into connecting with the parts of themselves that have felt unsafe in the past. And that's kind of more of a traumatic lens, versus another part of that lens is creating a practice of where you're consciously breathing more and developing your breathing mechanics. And the other side of that again is the meditation side, where you're slowing your brain down, you're getting a break from your to-do lists, and you're coming in and you're getting a felt sense of what it is to just to be with yourself, with being guided, with music, listening to your body.
I'm sure you've come across plenty of these kind of people who were reluctant to go down this journey of breath work, but when they did, it was like life-changing for them.
Yeah, I get that a lot, like especially from guys like, oh, I got dragged along to this breath work, oh, my friend said it, you know. And then something happened, and especially with guys, they will chase that experience again and again and again, maybe for another few times, and then it's like, that was a once off and I'm moving on now.
Okay.
But I definitely find that, because that, like, I would have more female clients than male clients, ironically. And the male mind wants to go into the CrossFit breathing, into we'll say the Wim Hof breathing, where it's hard, it's fast, and you're in the cold tub, and it's primal, and then it's raw. And that's amazing as well, and that's part of the breathing umbrella. It's fantastic. But for me to do the online work in a way that is safe, grounded, and again, using that word, embodied, it needs to be slower, consciously, and not pushed and not raw, and helping people feel safe enough as they're breathing, as their mind quietens down, as their emotions surface, that they can be with the felt sense of this exchange of feeling their emotional rawness or their emotional complexity or shadows within them.
Shadows. And when shadows pop up to say hello during these breathing experience, how do you find people deal with them then?
Again, there's no single answer to that. People will always deal with it uniquely. That some of the commonalities would be that the ego gets to support the shadow and hardens the shadow potentially. And we're trying to build, and when I talk about we are trying to build, is a practice is trying to build capacity, awareness within yourself that you can become aware of when you're lying to yourself, or you become aware when you are not being honest with yourself, and you can become aware of not getting attached to the story that's being triggered to take you off in a distracted, and just letting your body feel what is present, what is, and what's relevant. And you won't always get it right, but at least that you start to creating percentages on your side through a practice. And most people, like, again, that's a big generalization, many people come to a breathwork practice in order to get over anxiety. And what happens is that anxiety will drop if they do a practice. And then they punch out and they go, my anxiety is under control now. So I'm going to go back and just kind of go back to normal. But anxiety will rise again, because if things haven't changed within that lifestyle or within that deeper understanding, the problems are still there. You've only just been managing or soothing yourself through breathwork as a way to feel better. And that's okay. That's fine. But not to fool yourself that you've gotten over the problem or the fixing of yourself by not feeling anxiety for a while, because if it comes back, it just means the practice would have to deepen. And shadow work, inner work, awareness work, it's slow work. It's slow work, and people want to know now. They want the ChatGPT to go, that's what it is. That's how you do it. And unfortunately, we're again using that term that we're talking about, that distraction mode is all too easily available. So we're being distracted from being ourselves, from being human.
Yeah, totally. Couldn't agree with you more. We're totally being distracted from ourselves, from being human. And it's like we're sabotaging ourselves or gaslighting ourselves, telling ourselves stories that aren't true.
Yeah, I mean, and we've been doing it for hundreds of years.
Yeah. I do like the idea of not blaming ourselves either. Because I think that doesn't help our nervous system. I like what you said there before, that it's not our fault, or it's not about pointing fingers or blaming.
So what blame often or regularly does is it reinforces your attachment to shame. And we all I think we all have shame at some levels within ourselves, culturally, sexually, physically, intellectually, etc. So the more you're blaming yourself, the more you're reinforcing the story that you're not good enough or you don't deserve something better. And the same potentially when you blame other people. It's because of that, it's because of this, it's because of her, because of him. And when we do that, we outsource ourselves to taking ownership. And taking ownership is difficult, because the truth is raw and it can be hurtful, and you might have to forgive, and forgiveness is really hard, and acceptance is hard, and there's it's part of that slow process.
Yes, totally agree. I like that idea of ownership, taking responsibility, and it's like taking our power back.
And sometimes taking our power back means being softer and slower. Power doesn't have to be push, shove, and explosive, because it has that connotation. It can be the yin and the yang. It can be more feminine based and being softer based, or it can be the other way. We can get out of the wishy-washy and come into being firm and coming into owning boundaries. It just depends where people are.
Hmm. Would you like to share about your offerings? What is available to somebody who'd like to jump onto your bandwagon?
My bandwagon. The what I would, I'm focused on providing quality, fresh breathing or breathwork themed nuance, which is music, breathwork inside, awareness, and part of that is the poetry stuff that we were talking about, and how if you can give it a try, realistic try, a month or two, and spend. So people, I signed up for a month or two, and how many times did you try it? And you're like, once or twice. Really, it's about doing an hour and a half, 2 hours a week, and how the hour that you put in will give so much more to you from a nervous system perspective on the other side. Now, when people are not sure, they'd like to start a practice, but they're at risk of panic attacks, or they're in what we call like a dorsal shutdown, or in their extreme freeze nervous system states. You know, I would like people to come and do a session online first or in person first, and then, you know, tailor it or curate it more efficiently for them if they're in that more end state self. And so the online work is the most accessible work. The practice work is the work that does you the most good, and it gets you into the curiosity of self-discovery. When I do workshops are, you know, breath. I do it through the embodiment of breath, and I do it through, you know, that. But that's really only the tool to helping people feel more connected and safe to their bodies. And if you can feel safe and connected to your body when you are in the space with many people, that grows in a beautiful flowering way. And this is where ceremony breath work comes in, and it slows right down. It meets the nervous system of the room and the container where it's at, and how all these individuals are coming in. So breath work, as I see it, often is described as, we're going to come in here, we're going to do a bit of breathing, we're going to do this, and it's all about, let's do it. But really and it can be great, and it can be fun, and you can meet great people. That's the other side of it. But what your nervous system needs, as I see it more and more often, is that it needs to feel safe enough to slow down. And if it feels safe enough, it means it's not being judged, it's being supported, and that it's building a capacity and feel safe within their capacity, again, to feel what is rising in that particular session or that particular weekend or day. So the offerings of what I'm doing are mostly online, and then at workshops, and then I do retreats. And the retreat-based work it's a deep sense of discovery, we'll say, and connection. So people are on a healing path, but you don't ever get healed. So people tire when they call it the healing path. I like to reframe it as that healing is a byproduct of connection. And by moving your life or moving your habits into a place where it allows you to be more in connection, the byproduct will be healing, happiness, joy. And joy being not just the one spectrum of upper experiences, like happiness is an upper experience. Sadness is that one of those, say, lower experiences, if I can frame it like that. But joy is your ability within yourself to be with all of your experiences and still be present. So when you're sad, or when you're hurting, or when you're grieving, or when you're in pain, that you're not needing to rush to a unhelpful crutch in order to get over that feeling. Your joy means that you have the ability to be with all those feelings, be present with them, and be okay.
It's like swimming in acceptance.
Yeah.
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 I know what you mean. Yes, I totally get that. I've heard great reviews, like I said before, from from one of my friends who's been down there, which is how I ended up reaching out to you.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Graham.
So nothing but good reviews. So anybody who's listening and is curious, I highly recommend that you reach out to Ronan. And I believe that your online access, I think you can get a week free, is it?
Yeah. There's a week on it to try it for free.
Yeah.
And at least try it for an hour or 2 hours and get it. Again, don't come in looking for... There's many apps out there with like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, and you're like, you're only really kind of slowing down after 15 or 20 minutes. So you've got to give yourself more time. And people are looking to hack the nervous system. People are looking to, what's the other word, like biohack, or we have to move out of that. We're humans. We're not computers. And although we're living in the age of computer, that to feel human, to be human, to experience the joy of what it is in all the compartments of being human, good, high, low, indifferent, needs a nervous system that has the ability to navigate all those experiences. And if you don't have a nervous system that has the ability to be with all those, you're going to end up caught in one-dimensional aspects of your life, which is on a treadmill, unhelpful, blaming, problematic, crutching on vaping, crutching on cigarettes, alcohol, whatever that is, and kind of finding that numbing tool in order to get to the weekend so you can relax again. And life isn't made for the weekends. We only have what we have, and we have to make the most of it.
Yeah, I like that idea of numbing tools, just to get us through until the weekends. It's like living in a cloud, really, isn't it? And we when we're numb, we don't really feel what's really deep inside.
Yeah. So what is numbness? That's so numbness, and again, it's unique to different people's experience. But numbness is when you are confronted with a part of your life, or a relationship, or an emotion, or a traumatic, sensation in your body, that you're going to a tool to help calm it, numb it, or disassociate from it. But it'll always be there, and you'll always, unless you kind of go down, and this is to use the Carl Jung quote, like, as within, so without. That's maybe the wrong quote, but there's another one. The only way out is in. That's the word I was looking for. The only way out is to see, to get through, or to get to the other side of the life that you want. You've got to go into yourself. Nothing outside is going to fill your cup enough for you to feel that, because you have to go in. And breathwork does that. It can be very soft. It can be a very felt. It can be a very therapeutic way of doing that. And that's what I totally believe it. I've had some intense experiences. I've had some soft, eye-opening, realizing moments. I fell asleep during some of them. I've had ones where I'm totally agitated. It's all that spectrum still happens, even within that meditation quality. But the more you practice, the less it happens.
Yeah, and I like that there are always different experiences. We can't expect the same all of the time, and it can't always be great. And it's learning how to manage those different experiences in a state of calmness and acceptance, like you were saying before, joy.
Well, even in terms of bliss or an orgasm, where it's like you're eventually, if you set the same orgasm all the time, you're eventually going to want a different orgasm. So across the spectrum of it, that we will always seek something different than what we know as well. And so, kind of to using that frame of the way I'm saying that is that we have to let go of what we already know in order to experience what we don't. And the mind, or the ego mind, doesn't want to do that easily, because it's primed for certainty. It wants to know with certainty what's going to happen before it happens. And that's again a safety mechanism that we're built on. Some people find it hard, some people find it difficult, but it's a commonality. So when we're craving certainty and we're looking for the same experience that we had a good experience with before, we're kind of in our own way. We're in our own mind to the degree that we can't let go. We can't find that space where we currently are, because all that matters is experiencing where you currently are.
Totally. Well, thank you so much, Ronan. I really appreciate all of your wisdom, and I'm looking forward to trying out your meditations and your breath work as well.
Hey, love to have you on. If anybody who feels that this is worth an interest for them, breathwaveireland.com, or send me a message on the email, or on Instagram is usually where I'm more easily found. And I hope to help facilitate people finding or starting that or continuing that journey for themselves.
I'll leave all the links in the show notes so it's easier for people to reach you. And looking forward to seeing you sometime in one of those sessions.
Absolutely.
Take
Lovely
care.
to meet you. Thanks, Sarah.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.